Hi everyone, I'm excited to share an update with you on my leadership journey since 2024. I hope everyone's well. It is now the 11th of November 2027, and I feel I've really stepped into my role as an adaptive leader. I'm so grateful for the conversations we had as part of our leadership course, as it not only brought the content to life for me, but also helped me see myself more clearly and also shaped my future. And it also landed a role that positioned me to make this possible, a role that I hadn't even thought about. So I'm excited to share with you a little bit more about where I am now and also the three actions I took to get here based upon some of the concepts that we learned together, as well as the actions, as well as the impacts those actions had and they continue to have. I realized through my work as a leadership coach, my clients and myself very much saw myself as more of a developmental leader. And this was a useful pause point to reflect on whether this was the direction I wanted to continue. I'd always prided myself on my ability to navigate change through with my clients and help them, do change and do it well. And I've realized that that's really where I wanted my studies to take me. My aha moment was that as more of a developmental leader, I had been very much focusing my efforts on competence and ability, and the real need that I was seeing was in the alignment space. And this is where I saw adaptive leadership as being critical here, especially as the clients I started working with in 2025 were big and complex, and they really struggled to learn new stuff. So, alignment first before giving them a bunch of information was really important. So, when I thought about being an adaptive leader, I really thought about my values. I thought about my strengths and really thought about what would be a really good growth edge. There were a few strengths I hadn't been using as deliberately. And I felt I'd really got a little bit stuck and attached to my role as developmental leader. And I'd also been thinking about how I was going about my career as more steps and goals and ticks rather than as more of a cumulative process. So it really was a bit of a mindset shift for me to think about how might I draw upon past experiences and how do I kind of mindfully move into this new space. So the three concepts I focused on were facilitate collaboration, build a sandpit, and enable others. I started with collaboration probably because it felt like a natural first step. It drew upon what I'd been doing a lot of already as a coach and a trainer and a facilitator. But I knew in order to transition to being more of an adaptive leader, I needed to be a little bit more deliberate with it. I was working with a new client. They were based in the USA and Australia, and I offered to step in and play a more active role in the initiative we were working on. So rather than be the coach and the trainer, which is a little bit a bit back, I offered to get in there. Uh, they took me up on that offer. I'm really glad I did that. It was a big step, and it really then gave me the opportunity to be really in the middle of it, to really role model adaptability, as well as start to do some really good things. So, one of the things I did was I set up a daily sync that brought the team and the stakeholders together. This enabled everyone to have a conversation regularly so that we could adapt to issues as they came up. And it really, I felt, played into Cantor's law of teaming up as well as never giving up because it was on a cadence. We got together and it enabled us to interact around this complex solution that we were building and be able to then solve issues and also be able to understand how we might be able to solve those issues on the spot, um, and really help that solution emerge a little bit more as well. So the impact, it was successful. People loved the idea of coming together, and it really gave me that boost of self-efficacy I needed that told me I was on the right track, not there yet. It did lead to a more permanent role with this company, which enabled me to take the next actions, which I may not have been able to take as a consultant. The next thing I did was build a sandpit. So this was a production-like technical environment, and what we did was we iteratively demoed the solution every 2 weeks. The solution was complex, and the stakeholders wanted to frequently monitor the solution, but I really wanted to do that in a way where people felt empowered and autonomous and not kind of looked over. So the demo involved those stakeholders as well as some of our external stakeholders as well. This helped the team stay connected with the overall goal of the initiative, kind of like a bit of sense giving in a way, because while they're in the detail, the stakeholders were there to just help remind people of what the overall goal was, what the overall big picture was. It also meant that as we started to demo things in small slices, we were able to pivot when we found problems. And everyone learned together, which really enabled emergent design, which is ideal in this situation where there's a lot of unknowns. The last one was enabling others, and I have to say this was the one that gave me the most sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. I was well on my journey to becoming an adaptive leader, but I also felt it was important to empower others to do the same. So, as the leader of this initiative and also of this department, as that role emerged, I wanted to create regular opportunities to come together and talk about what new ideas could be possible. So, I held an hour every 2 weeks for those things to surface. I called it bubble up, and what it actually became was all these things that were bothering people. They came up with lots of solutions to improve them, as well as a bunch of new ideas that others hadn't thought of. Creating this space also gave us the opportunity to solve those systemic problems that seem to just keep coming up. So we're able to get some really good solutions in place. The teams felt listened to, but they also felt empowered to be part of solving those problems. And it was really great for me to see new adaptive leaders emerge because it's not just about me, it's also about others. And to be able to create new adaptive leaders on the way was really important. Of all the course concepts, I felt like these were really good ones to apply. And I felt like every one of them was a kind of experiment as I transitioned into this new leadership role, more of that consultant coach, more into the adaptive leader. I felt like I was able to build on my wins. But what I also realized is there were a lot more transferable skills and experience from my role as a developmental leader that I hadn't thought of that they would be useful. So that was a great learning to know that it's not a complete change, but more of a journey. My clients' feedback tells me they see me as an adaptive leader, but more importantly, it's how I see myself. And I'm really looking forward to taking more actions, continuing to adapt as I go, of course. And I'm looking forward to giving everyone an update again soon. Thanks, everyone.